Hello, everyone. This is Brian Zipse from Horse Racing Nation. I'm joined today by Matt Shifman, my partner. It's been a while since we've been together, Matt. It's good to see you.
It is great to see you, Brian. I've been sitting in this very place since November, so it's great to be back.
Yeah, the phone lines must not have been working, Matt. I've been trying to get you since November. But here we are today, and we're talking about Kentucky Derby preps. The gang from HorseCenter is back again. So let's get right to it. I think we wanted to talk about the Tampa Bay Derby first, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a great time for us to be back with the road to the Derby really heating up. The races are getting that much more important. A win and a second place, and you've probably got a spot in the gate. And it's time to see if the early contenders can continue along the trail and see what happens with some new faces also. And Tampa Bay Derby is a perfect example of that. We've got Ocean Knight battling with Carpe Diem in the Tampa Bay Derby. Who do you like in there, Brian?
Well, Matt, it's a good race. It's a great card. Tampa Bay Downs is put together tomorrow. Tampa Bay Derby is a very interesting race. Those two, certainly Carpe Diem and Ocean Knight, are the headliners, but far from a two-horse race. If I had to pick one horse right now, it would be Carpe Diem. He's making his first start for Winstar and Todd Pletcher 2015, and I thought he was an excellent two-year-old. We won first out nicely at Saratoga. Keeneland, I think Ember Mar was on him big in the Breeders' Futurity for his second race, and then he ran second, well-beaten second, but second in the Breeders' Cup. So he was all class as a two-year-old. He's been working fantastically for Pletcher in South Florida for a couple months now, and I think he'll probably be ready to roll. And with Ocean Knight only having 2 lifetime starts, I think Carpe Diem probably has the edge on experience, and he'll be my top pick.
My top pick is going to be Ocean Knight. I mean, I love the way he ran in the Sam F. Davis right there on the Tampa Bay track. So we know he likes the track. I loved his running style in there, coming off the pace, mowing down the horses in the stretch. He ran with determination. He ran strongly, and it certainly didn't look like he was getting tired. He's a son of Curlin, and right now he's kind of holding the hopes for Kieran McLaughlin. A number of his horses have been a disappointment on the Derby trail, but I don't think Ocean Knight's going to be another one of those.
No, and I don't disagree with you, Matt. I think Ocean Knight is for real. He's looked really good in his first 2 races. So, no surprise if he wins. I think we need to mention a few other horses in the race. Super Colossal started out at Monmouth Park. He might be the fastest 3-year-old in the country. I think it's going to be tough for him to go wire and wire in this, but a real nice horse. Divining Rod ran well last time. Amy's Flatter gets blinkers on and is a decent horse. Danzig Moon is an improving sort who could do well for Marquesi. But there is one long shot in there that I'm looking that I think people are really going to overlook, and maybe he'll be 20 to 1 or so. And I think My Johnny Be Good is a horse that could creep into the picture tomorrow. He's a son of Colonel John, who's also been improving. His 2 races at Tampa Bay are very good. He did finish third to Ocean Knight last time, but he pressed the pace and he came up a little short. I think he's a two-turn horse, and there's reason to believe that he'll improve off that third in the Sam F. Davis, and I would say at least 20 to 1.
And just as a footnote, it just came out earlier that Super Colossal has spiked a fever.
Super Colossal's out?
Yeah, so he's out of this one. Plisa doesn't think it's going to be long, but he's out.
Well, that's part of the pace then. That's he would have been out there winging, so there is a little less pace. I'm sticking with Carpe Diem as my top pick. I respect Ocean Knight. My Johnny Be Good is a real bomb to get in there.
I'm looking forward to that race.
It's a good one. Okay, well, let's go cross country, and there's a lot of talk about a couple of horses in the San Felipe. In fact, a few of them are undefeated. Notably, of course, we have Ocho making his first start since winning the Rich Delta Downs jackpot last time, a son of Street Sense, a Kentucky Derby winner. And then, of course, Dortmund, who might be the most talked about 3-year-old so far this year. The son of Big Brown is 4 for 4. Those two figure to get most of the play at the windows, Matt, I think, but there's definitely some others in there. Who do you like in the San Felipe tomorrow?
I'm going to go with Ocho Ocho Ocho, 3 for 3, winner of what right now maybe months later maybe the best Delta jackpot in a while. Because don't forget in that race that he beat Mr. Z, and Mr. Z, even though he has been winning lately, has is a tough competitor and has shown that all spring. And he also beat Far Right, who is a horse that has moved up on a lot of people's Derby list. Came back and won the Southwest at Oaklawn. So Ocho 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 has gotten flattered a great deal. Now his trainer said, that this is not necessarily the most important race for him, coming back off the layoff, but I'm still going to go with Ocho Ocho Ocho. I think Cassidy just might be playing a little coy there.
Yeah, we saw Ocho 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 over the Breeders' Cup weekend, man. He looked good sprinting, and then I think you're exactly right. The Delta jackpot of last year was stronger than most, and there are certainly some good horses in there. I'm going to say, much like Ocean Knight, I think Ocho is a very good horse and for real, but I think he's up against it. Dortmund is battle tested. He's in good form. He had those two really strong races where he outdueled a nice horse in Firing Line. No Firing Line tomorrow. I think Dortmund is one of the best 3-year-olds in the country, so I like his chances to beat a returning Ocho tomorrow. Again, I might have the favorite in there, so I'm going to have to find a long shot in the Gotham. I do want to mention another horse, though, that's certainly getting better with every start, and his name is Prospect Park. And Prospect Park finally broke his main at the end of last year in a tough main race where he battled most of the way. And then his one race as a 3-year-old was really an eye catcher. So Prospect Park, I'm not a big Lord Nelson guy. If Bolo takes to the turf or takes to the dirt, he's been running really well on turf. He's a danger, but Prospect Park might be the one that could beat both of the unbeaten horses that we started out with.
Yep, can't argue with you much. I agree. I think Lord Nelson is this race is going to be a little bit too long for that one.
Yeah, probably better 7 furlongs or so for him. Okay, so I'm going with, we have two different horses. So far, I have Carpe Diem and Dortmund, and you have Ocean Knight and Ocho Ocho Ocho. 4 really good horses, so should be fun. The third big prep tomorrow, I guess, isn't quite as big, or the field didn't come up quite as big as the others, and that's back in your neck of the woods in New York for the Gotham.
Yep, the Gotham tomorrow at Aqueduct. I'll be there. And I was disappointed when Ocean Knight decided to go to the Tampa Bay Derby. It certainly took a little bit off the field, but as I was handicapping the Gotham more and more, it's kind of an interesting field. On first look, you might think, oh, El Kabir is the best horse in the race, and in a lot of ways he is. He's got the experience. He's got the 25 points already on the road to the Derby, which is 4th best. He's won a lot of money. He's accomplished a lot. And hey, I'll admit it. I got caught up in it in the Withers, and I said that, El Kabir towered over the field. I'm not going to say that again this time, Brian. I learned my lesson the last time. I think he's the horse to beat, but I think there's a lot of horses in there that have a chance to do that. There's horses like Classy Class, who ran a good race in the Withers, finished a length behind El Kabir. Kieran McLaughlin has said that the horse doesn't need to be on the lead. I'd like the horse a lot better if he does come off the pace. I'm feeling like the winner of this Gotham is going to be another horse coming off the pace in the way that Far From Over did in the Withers. So if Classy Class comes off of it, I like him. Rapoli and Pletcher have a 3-horse entry in the Gotham, with Blame Jim being the best of those, who broke his maiden impressively at Saratoga, beating Bold Conquest in there.
Mm-hmm.
Then was off until February, finished second in an allowance, where he was beat by Stanford, who just ran a pretty good race today at Gulfstream. Who do you like in there, Brian?
Yeah, well, speaking of those Pletcher horses, Matt, I Blame Jim is the one that I fear the most of the 3 as well. Although, Blame Jim, I don't know. It seems like Pletcher has a lot more bullets in his holster than what he has sent up here. for the Gotham, including Far From Over, who, by the way, that was one of my good picks this year, Far From Over to upset El Kabir in the Withers. And now I'm going to pick another upset of El Kabir, and it's going to be the Philadelphia horse, Matt. I know you kind of like him too. We've talked about him a little bit. Tiz Shay D is a son of Tiz now, really bred for the distance. Came out in a 5.5 furlong maiden race at Parks and just exploded. Was wide way back early and just exploded down the lane to win Going Away by Daylight. Since the horse that he beat has come back and won his maiden race quite easily. So gave it a little bit more credibility, that performance at Parks. It was a very good time. In fact, the horse he beat came back and won in 109 change. So I think there's more to that Parks maiden than normally meets the eye. Sure, it's a big step up to 2 turns Aqueduct for the Grade 3 Gotham against El Kabir and the likes. But I like the setup too. There's plenty of speed in here. Tishay D, 15 to 1 on the morning line. He's going to be my top pick. He was since part of interest was sold in him, and he's switched from the service barn to Bill Mott's barn, which doesn't hurt at all. So look for him to run a big race tomorrow. El Kabir's the one to beat, but I think Tishay D, much like Far From Over, might be the real deal and might be ready to run a big one second time out.
Yeah, I was talking about Al Kabir and others, but I kind of like Tiz Shay D also, Brian, on Withers Day. He created a little bit of talk in the press box that day after his win at Parks. Apparently, he had been training superbly for John Service, and he only ran at Parks because with the weather and things like that, it had been tough to find a race. The word was that he had been beaten up on some pretty good horses in the morning preparing for that race. I'd love to get 15 to 1. Not sure if we will, but I think it's going to be a good, really good price anyway.
Yeah, El Kabir will be the favorite. The Pletcher 3-pronged entry will probably be bet a little bit, and maybe a couple others will be under him. Yeah, maybe 8 to 1, 10 to 1 is more likely. Hey, but we're not above picking an 8 to 1 shot. So is that your top pick? Are you with me?
I'm with you on Tiz Shay D. Yes.
Okay, so we picked favorites. We picked Ocean Knight for you, Carpe Diem for me in the Tampa Bay Derby. We picked Dortmund for me, Ocho 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 for you in the San Felipe. And then back in New York, we both think that El Kabir is beatable as a favorite again. And we're going to try to do it with Tiz Shay D in the Gotham. Matt, this is it. We're gonna do a bunch of these Kentucky Derby talks, getting ready for the Derby. We're less than 2 months away now, getting pretty exciting. So let's keep up the Kentucky Derby talk on the road to Louisville.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks everyone for joining us. The guys from HorseCenter are back. Again, we're brought to you by Horse Racing Nation and Derby Wars. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you next week.